fights from inside the MGM Grand Las Vegas bubble. I know Top Rank is proud to have ushered in the return of big-time boxing to the United States. I mean, this big experiment began on June 9th with Shakur Stevenson's junior lightweight debut. And so we end 2020 fittingly with Shakur Stevenson headlining once again. And a couple numbers for you guys before we get to the action at hand is Saturday night will mark the 24th Top Rank show from the MGM Grand bubble. Not counting Saturday's bouts, we've seen 134 fights, 9 world title fights, and 25 unbeaten fighters who have seen their O go. So that's a great indication of just how competitive these bubble bouts have been over the last 6 months. A little programming. Stevenson against Toka Kahn Clary, 10-round junior lightweight non-title fight, will headline the ESPN broadcast, which begins at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, which also includes the return of lightweight Felix Verdejo against Masayoshi Nakatani. Nakatani's first bout since taking Teofimo Lopez the 12-round distance back in July 2019. And then the opener on ESPN features perhaps the most exciting young prospect, soon-to-be contender, soon-to-be world title challenger in boxing, super middleweight Edgar Berlanga, 15-0, 15 knockouts, all in the first round, and he will fight Ulysses Sierra. In an 8-round fight, Sierra has only had 1 defeat in his career, has never been knocked out as a professional. And before we get to the ESPN broadcast, we begin on ESPN Plus at 7 p.m. Eastern, which has some great fights on hand, including the return of boxing's cult hero of 2020, Clay Collard, who's going to fight Quincy Lavalier in a rematch of their June 2019 draw. Clay is 5-0 thus far in 2020, looking to defeat his 4th undefeated prospect. And also in action on ESPN Plus, Jesse Bam Rodriguez, the light flyweight sensation, 20 years old from San Antonio, Texas, will return. Turned a lot of heads in his bubble debut back in September. And also Robesi Ramirez, 2-time Cuban Olympic gold medalist. He will be making his 4th bubble appearance against the toughest test of his career from Barranquilla, Colombia, Brandon Valdez, as an 8-round featherweight bout. So again, we have an extraordinarily packed night of fights on Saturday. And so before we get to the fighters, Edgar Berlanga is here right now. But before we get to Edgar, I'd like to turn things over to the president of Top Rank, Todd duBoef. Todd, please go ahead.
Thanks, Evan. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you for joining, and more importantly, all of you for being so supportive of our business and supportive of the sport during this long pandemic that we never thought was going to be continuing this long. And I think it started in March and we thought we'd be up and running in June, but back to normalcy. So listen, this is, I want to first, before I talk about the fighters, I want to talk about the specifics a little bit on a big picture. The MGM has been fantastic. ESPN is a wonderful partner. Everybody from UMC to the testing, the medical physicians, the Nevada State Athletic Commission, everybody has been taking on all challenges in this and really has done a great job, including the governor of Nevada supporting us. And as we see the second spikes or these current spike throughout the country with massive numbers that are coming up all over, allowing us the ability to go through and present live content and give the fans something. From a programming perspective, December 12th has always been a special day, or this December weekend has always been a special day for us on our programming wheel. As you remember, this is typically, just for a note, this is the Heisman night. This is normally when the Heisman would have been taking place under the normal cadence of a schedule, and it would be our lead-in. Knowing that and knowing the history that we've had with doing in excess, Terrence Crawford fought last year in the main events against Cavalicius as the main event, and Teofimo fought Comey. And we've had Loma against, I think it was Pedraza, and Loma against Rigo on this night. This is a special night. And just because the Heisman isn't in its normal cadence, we knew that this night, for all viewers and all programming people, was a night that we wanted to keep our flag in and really keep the roll going of what we've been doing. So I wanted to just say that Shakur, who now he's now going to end the bubble as he started the bubble as the main event. This is a great platform for him, as it is Edgar Berlanga and as it is Felix Verdejo, as we think the viewership is going to be consistent with the massive success we've had the last couple of months. So at this time, I'd like to throw it back to Evan. I see Edgar sitting there chomping at the bit. There's no real introduction needed. All I needed to see him do was stand up on the corner of the ring ropes like he did last fight and call himself a beast, which everybody is saying, is he a beast? But I will say something about Edgar, which is incredible, is that, we talk about guys working on their ability in the ring, and then guys working on their marketability. He has done both, and I think that's why we've seen this great rise of talent come up and great rise in interest. And he's done a great job using social media, engaging with people, and that kind of good work. For us to give him a big platform is terrific, and we're going to see a real star coming through. So, Evan, I'll send it back to you, and any questions, I'm here.
Thank you very much, Todd. And before we begin, everybody who wants to ask a question, the drill. Raise hand button on the Zoom. Send a private message in the chat. If you can't figure that out, just shoot me a text, and I will get everybody in the queue. So before we get to the questions, Edgar, you've been on everybody's radar for a while, but you broke out back on October 17th, leading off the Lomachenko-Lopez broadcast, which did obviously well over 3 million viewers. So can you talk about how things have changed for you since that night of October 17th, and how excited you are to open the show once again on linear ESPN?
I fought October 17th, and, I always knew that, every fight is going to get better and better. And first and foremost, I want to thank Top Rank, Todd duBoef. I want to thank all the staff, everybody, for even getting me on that card, because that was big exposure for me. I shocked the world once again with another first round knockout with a guy that's never been knocked out. And I feel like the October 17th fight really took off for me. I caught a lot of people's attention, in the music industry, a lot of celebrities, and news media as well. I just got on Despierta America, is one of the biggest Spanish national television shows in the morning. They just aired the news today. So it's just been amazing, man, since October 17th. I wanted to be on this card December 12th. I wanted to end the year with a bang.
Thank you very much, Edgar. Now we are going to get to our first question, and that comes from Jake Donovan, Boxing Scene. Jake, please go ahead when ready, sir.
Great. Thank you very much, Evan. Edgar, before I ask my official questions, a lot of my boys want to know, where the hell are you going that you're paying $150 for a haircut?
Nah, I should have said how much you guys pay for haircuts at home, because that's like a home haircut for me. I wouldn't pay $150 for a haircut at the barbershop. I'll probably pay the most $50.
Okay.
But I got people mixed up. People was like, what the hell? Like, he's paying $150 for a haircut. Well, it's a home haircut. The guy comes with his equipment, he takes care of me. I'm home with my slippers on, boxers, whatever, and he's cutting me.
I got you. So my brother-in-law owns a fade shop in Long Island. He was ready to jump on a train and hook you up for half that price. But anyway, so onto this fight this weekend. I know a lot of people, they constantly make a big deal, like, when we're going to see Edgar Berlanga push past the first round. It's obviously not your fault that these fights, that you're not making it to that far. But even with these first round knockouts, what do you feel like you can show differently this weekend that we haven't yet seen?
The same listen, man, the same thing as always, poise, use my jab, use my movement. I got great boxing ability that the world haven't seen yet. Only the people that's behind closed doors, that's behind the scenes with me, that's in the gym with me every day, they know what I have, and you know, the world haven't seen that. They only seen the first round. So, you know, I'm just looking to showcase my skill once again, man, and, you know, shock the world. You know, hey, if I go into the second round, okay, you know, I'm going to continue to do what I do best, you know, and I'm going for the win, man. I'm aiming to look spectacular Saturday night, you know, like I said, shock the world.
Yeah, very cool. And then I wanted to ask, I know you're not looking past this weekend, but Canelo Alvarez, he's ready to plant his flag in the 168-pound division. That means a lot of the guys are probably going to be waiting in line to get a shot at him. What do you believe you can do? Like, I'd say even within the next 12 months to become like that second winning guy in this division. And then Todd, I'm going to kind of
you know, just continue to do what I'm doing. You know, Puerto Rico haven't seen nothing like it before. You know, Trinidad even told me, you know, there's been a lot of great fighters coming out of Puerto Rico, but you know, there haven't been a guy that's 168, you know, that's 6'2", Puerto Rican from New York, that could box, that could punch, that has all the attributes to become a star in the sport. You know, I have different varieties of a fan base. You know, I have the, you know, the Black American people. You know, I have my Puerto Rican people from Puerto Rico. You know, I have the guys out here from New York. You know, and it's just a big thing, man. I'm not looking just to target my island, you know, because eventually I'm gonna gain the island. I'm looking to target the whole world, man. You know, I want to go down the block and go to a bakery, and I walk into a bakery, and the people that work at the bakery knows who I am, and that's my goal.
Very cool. So Todd, you know, you thinking big picture all the time. How do you get Edgar to that position, especially since he's blowing for guys in 2 minutes or less every time out?
I think the key to that is, you know, and we fight with this all the time, and it's, you fight with the right matches at the right time and finding, you know, when he's step up. I was on the phone with Edgar's manager, Keith, for a long time, and we were discussing it. And, you know, I've seen this, you get to with the greats, you know, it was when Mayweather wanted to fight, his father wanted to fight Gennaro Hernandez, right? He still needed to take, what's the guy's name? I think his name was Tony Pep was the name. I think it was the guy that took him 12 rounds or something like that. He was, you know, and he needed to give him the distance fights. And when Cotto was coming up, it was like, I would say to Bruce, I said, hey, you know, could he fight Justin Juco? And he's like, yeah, he could fight him for 6 rounds. I've never seen him fight more than 6 rounds, right? So I think with Edgar, you know, he has to stick to what his fundamentals are, is just on his ability, do what's right for him, right? And figure out, you know, we'll try to get him the right matches at the right time and find the right balance there. You know, I don't think we don't want to hold him back, but yet on the other hand, he has to, you know, he needs to know what it's to get off the stool in the 4th and 5th round, right? And have the water bucket, the water there, and all those things. So those things I'm going to lead with our matchmakers and obviously working with Edgar and Keith and his team. From a marketability standpoint, you know, like I've always said to you, we're not big at chasing money. We're big at creating money. So I'm not going to chase money for him like any other guy that we think is going to be, you know, is going to be the future and an attraction in the sport. I'm going to just activate our team and activate the platforms that we're with and our partnership with ESPN and our staff to create money around him. That people want to see him, the whole island stops and boom, they see him, they stop for that. We've done it before. And Madison Square Garden just blows off the lid like Cotto and Zab Judah did, right? That's what we dream for. So I think we have to balance the two things. And I think he's got a great start right now. And I think exciting stuff is ahead of us.
Great. Thanks so much, Todd. Edgar, best of luck this weekend. Great to have you back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. And now next we go from ESPN.com, Reggie Woodson. Reggie, please unmute and ask your question when ready.
Thanks, Wood from Bite Down Boxing. How you doing, Edgar?
How you doing, man?
I'm good. Look, you know, you don't have the worst group of friends in comparison to some fighters that we see out there, but you know, with guys like Fat Joe, Tracy Morgan, do you find their encouragement of you towards boxing in your career? Do you find it realistic according to boxing standards?
Yeah, you know, like Joe, man, we always talking about boxing, man. Or Tracy, we always, every time we get together, man, it's about the sport. It's about me being focused and staying focused because they've seen fighters, like myself, make it to a certain point, and get caught up in the limelight and just get caught up in bullshit, and their career just drifts down. It's a blessing, man, to have these type of people around me, and they not just around me, they're like really, really with me. They call me from day-to-day basis to check up on me, check up how I'm doing. If training camp is going well, I'm training hard, how I'm physically, mentally, spiritually doing, and it's an amazing feeling.
And my apologies, Reggie. I got confused. Eric Woodyard covers some boxing for ESPN, so my apologies, Reggie. So yeah, apology for the confusion. We go to the next question. Jeremy Harridges. Jeremy, please unmute and ask your question when ready.
Hi, Edgar. I saw a quote, I think it was with boxingscene.com, where you talked about having to pay extra to get Ulysses to fight with you. Is that something that's occurred before, or is that something that you're starting to see now? And what does that tell you?
Yeah, fighters is gonna want to get paid more now. They're not just gonna want to jump in the ring with me for chump change. It happens to the best, man. Just like now, like I said, now I'm starting camp. Well, I ended camp now, and for this next camp, we're gonna be looking into flying a couple fighters out, man, because and starting to have to pay people, because now fighters is not just gonna jump in there with me to take punishment.
Looking at him on film, and as far as what you see of Sierra on film, what are your impressions of him in the film that you've seen?
I've studied him. My team studied him. My dad studied him. He's a perfect fighter for me. He's my height. I believe he's 6'1". He stays right there. He doesn't have quite a big, good foot movement, man. But for me, he's a perfect opponent for the 12.
Thank you very much, and best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. And next up, we go to J.R. Bell. J.R., before you go, just a reminder again, raise hand function or send me a direct message in the chat. J.R., please unmute and ask your question when ready, sir.
All right, there. One question. Given the amount of fights that you've had this year that have been first-round knockouts, and you've been talking about, getting better and working with your coach, Andre Rozier. What do you think that you need to kind of like focus on for this particular fight going into 2021?
Just to continue, man, just getting experience. And, if I'm not getting the rounds in the fight, we look forward, to getting more rounds in sparring. My main thing right now is to just stay in the gym, man, stay training, stay in shape, and get in the rounds, man, and sparring. I'm not doing multiple rounds in the fight, but in the gym behind closed doors, I'm going 12 rounds with 3 different sparring partners. We switching up the sparrings. I'm going in there with heavier guys, cruiserweights. Sometimes they're throwing a heavyweight or a light heavyweight. I'm sparring big guys, man. And, for next year, man, we just looking at that, and also to get bigger fights, what I'm saying, to see if anybody could take me out of the first round, which eventually will happen. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I know that you were talking a little bit about possibly fighting Steve Nelson in the future. So we'll see how that happens. And thanks very much for your time.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, JR. And now we go to ESPN.com. Ben Baby. Ben, off from Bengals coverage for the day. Please, you're unmuted. Please go ahead when ready, sir.
Yeah, hey, Edgar, just a real quick question. I know that you and Todd have kind of touched on this a little bit, and I know, sorry to keep kind of harping on this point, but at what point do you kind of say, okay, I'm ready to kind of maybe step up in opposition because I do need the rounds? And at what point do you kind of, is this a scenario where you ask Top Rank, hey, I'd like maybe some tougher opposition, or I'd like to be tested a little bit more? And when do you realistically think that's going to happen?
Sorry about that. We looking forward to next year, man, being a big year for us. Like I said, man, I'm 23 years old. I'm still young, and Rome wasn't built in a day, man. We doing it step by step, brick by brick, but next year we definitely looking forward to really stepping it up, you know, possibly for the Puerto Rican Day weekend in New York, guy winning the MGM Grand is open. The MSG's open. You know, we're looking for a bigger fight that day.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ben. And we're going to go next. Juan Navarez. Let me see if I can find that. Nope, cannot find that. Hold on 1 second, guys. 1 second, Edgar. Hey, I think while we wait for the next question, Edgar, I mean, what have you seen? I mean, how much tape do you study? Like, when is that something that you leave to Andre Rozier, or is tape study something that you are sort of intimately involved with when sort of prepping for an opponent?
Oh yeah, just like, you know, it's different times I watch tape. Sometimes I watch tape on different fighters, you know, just to pick up on certain things so I can add to my arsenal. You know, that's another thing I do. But also, like, for the opponent, man, you know, I don't like to just dwell on the tape, you know. So, you know, I watch a couple tapes, maybe 2 fights, and then I leave the rest to Andre and my dad, you know, and they study that guy, they make sure, and they find the right game plan for us to utilize that night.
All right, and I think now we go to Ricardo Torres. Ricardo, I'm about to unmute you. Ricardo, please unmute and go ahead when ready.
Yeah, thank you. Edgar, saludo.
Hey, saludo. Hola.
Hola, saludos para ti. Háblame sobre lo que significa poder cerrar este año, que ha sido un año importante para ti, con un combate, mantener impresionando, ¿no? Mantener creciendo, mantener dando buenas demostraciones, sin entrar en la cuestión de los rounds, que yo sé que no te encanta ya hablar mucho de ese tema, pero más que nada impresionar, demostrar crecimiento, demostrar madurez, demostrar progreso. ¿Cuán importante es eso para ti?
No, it's important for me right now. You know, we're looking forward to this Saturday. Para hacer más round, you know, and to look to get in the rounds, you know. But like I said, I'm not taking my foot off the gas, you know. If it goes past the second, then hey, good for that guy. But if not, then, you know, we're gonna continue to do what I do best.
And everybody, if you're asking a question in Spanish, please wait for Gardy Lopez to translate before allowing Edgar to speak. So just a heads up to all Spanish-speaking reporters, please let Gardy translate. Next up, we are going to go to Carlos Narvaez. Carlos, please go ahead.
Okay. Hi, Edgar, and hi, Todd duBoef. Long time I don't see you. Edgar, my question is, tell us about how was your experience working here for first time, working in the island. How was that experience for you? And also, talk a little bit about your encounter with Tito Trinidad.
You know, the experience on the island was amazing. I visited a lot of gyms in Puerto Rico, you know, and I got to meet a lot of young fighters that's coming up. You know, I've gotten the opportunity to speak to them, you know, and just, you know, be a role model for them and be in their ear, you know, and tell them to stay out the streets, you know, and to just stay focused. Just being in the island, man, I was with my father, I was with my coach, I was with my team, my girl, and, you know, I had an amazing time. You know, the people treated me very well. I went to Gimnasio, you know, Ivan Calderon, and then towards the end, we met up with Tito Trinidad and his town, you know, and Coupe Alto, and it was amazing, man. You know, I got very emotional because this is the man that I idolized since I was a kid. You know, he's one of the reasons why I started boxing, and, you know, having to meet him, it was very emotional for me. It was amazing. You know, I've seen the kid. I mean, I've seen him, you know, fighting at the age of 2 years old. And, you know, finally to get to meet that man, it was just amazing. I've been with a lot of celebrities, with a lot of big people in industries out there, but it was nothing like being with him.
Any important message that he gave you?
Yeah, to stay focused, keep training hard and to listen to my dad, listen to my team, and sky's the limit. He told me that him seeing me for the first time face to face, he already knew I was a humble kid, and he sees that my dad is in my corner, so he knows that I have a good head on my shoulders, and he told me that I'm gonna go far in the sport. That just to keep remaining focused.
Mm-hmm. Todd, when you saw Edgar Berlanga, what do you think about him? About like a prospect? You work with a lot of great fighters, like you said, like Miguel Cotto and other ones. So, do you feel that this guy will be the next star in this business?
Well, I mean, people. I appreciate the question, but people throw the word around star so easily, and one of the things we look at is you look at what are the skills or the assets that the athlete has, and do they have marketability? And obviously he has marketability, and then ability. On the ability side of it, he can flat out punch because everybody's just can't go 3 rounds. So we've seen that. But we also, we have to balance that, seeing the other skill sets he's going to have to show us, all of us in the ring, that, when he starts having those, longer fights, we're going to be able to see and a lot more of the arsenal that he has. And Edgar will tell you, we haven't seen everything that he can do because he's only been able to perform for under 3 minutes. So he's he probably has a lot of tricks in his bag, and I think he has all the attributes to do it. And it's exciting to be a part of that project. And when he was telling me he saw Tito Trinidad, I remember it was almost 21 years ago, this January, I went down and signed the entire 2000 Puerto Rican class with Cotto and Calderon and Fuchu and all of those guys. It seems like it was yesterday. And people, at that point, Puerto Rico and boxing people were like, yeah, it's big, but it's just Tito, it's this. And we believed in it because we had just done Tito and Oscar earlier in September. So I think, he would be a great representative for the island, a great representative for Latin America. And Edgar has all the skill sets to do it. It's going to be up to him and at the end timing.
Thank you very much, Todd. And we're running low on time. So Edgar, we're gonna let Edgar go. But Edgar, any last comments before you go? I know you're leaving for Las Vegas very shortly.
No, just everybody that's out there, man, just tune in this Saturday, on ESPN. It's gonna be an amazing night once again. Obviously, like I always do, man, I'm dedicating this fight to the whole Puerto Rico. To everyone that's out there that supports me, continue to fight. Continue to support me, and I'm gonna continue to fight for you guys. And it's gonna be fireworks Saturday night.
Thank you very much, Edgar. We'll let him go. He's got to pack and get ready to come to Vegas. So thank you so much for joining us today, Edgar. And it's only fitting that we transition from the next Puerto Rican superstar to perhaps the most recognizable and the biggest star currently on the island, El Diamante, Felix Verdejo. Felix is joining us. Everybody asking a question, whether you're asking English or Spanish, please have Guardia Lopez time to translate. So I'm going to start with Felix. Felix, welcome back to the bubble. Coming off your most impressive win since that defeat to Lazada in March 2018. How has working with Ismael Salas in Las Vegas, moving your base of training from Puerto Rico to Las Vegas and working with Salas helped you grow as a fighter over the last couple of years?
Félix, ¿cómo tu transición de entrenar en Las Vegas con Salas ha mejorado tu carrera?
Pues mira, he mejorado en muchos aspectos boxísticamente y obviamente ya yo tenía la base, era cuestión de implementar varios fundamentos y organizarme un poco, ¿no? Y pues gracias a Dios he estado aquí bien enfocado y preparado para para todo lo que venga y de verdad que eso ha sido lo mejor que he hecho en mi carrera.
I have grown a lot as a fighter ever since I joined Ismael Salas in Vegas. You know, I had the basics, the base skills, you know, and this decision of coming to Vegas has been the best one I have made in my career.
Thank you. And again, a reminder, raise hand button to ask Felix a question or send me a private message. And before we get to the questions, I want to bring it back to Todd. Obviously, Todd, you've been intimately involved with Felix's career since he turned pro with Top Rank following the 2012 Olympics. You know, we've ridden that wave with Felix for the last 8 years. What have you seen from Felix over the last year or so, obviously coming off a massively impressive performance, first round KO over Will Madera? What have you seen from Felix, and where do you sort of see him going in the near future should he be successful Saturday night?
I think Felix is a very gifted on talent. He's always been gifted on talent. When he came out of the Olympics, you know, most people put him at the top of, you know, having the skill sets, and then obviously had you know, obviously coming from Puerto Rico and a country that has great support for it. I think his most recent, he unfortunately with his accident and getting distracted, he had a couple setbacks, but we all make mistakes and we all have, you know, we all can recover from that. And I think what he's done is he's surrounded himself with a new team. He looks incredibly focused, and I think he's going to be in line to have a big shot. And if it's the lightweight division is as exciting as anything, and if it's Felix and Teofimo or Felix and Loma or whoever else is out there, I think he's put himself dead set in the center of the conversation for the best fighters in that division, which is very deep.
Thank you, Todd. And we take our first question from Carlos Toro. Carlos, please go ahead when ready.
Hi, Felix. Thanks so much for taking time to talk to us. You know, between the motorcycle accident and the loss you suffered a couple of years ago, and now moving on with Ismael Salas, do you feel like you're now at a point in your career in and out of the ring where sort of things have now stabilized and now you can finally focus on finally getting that world title shot that you've been aiming for years now?
Felix, luego de tu accidente y de la transición a entrenar con Ismael Salas, ¿sientes que ahora estás en un lugar donde finalmente puedes conseguir ese ansiado título mundial?
Pues mira, entiendo que sí. Aquí donde estoy me siento bastante cómodo. Cada vez que vengo es a una misión, concentrado en lo que estoy haciendo, en la preparación. Mucha dedicación y de verdad que me siento... cuando mejor me he sentido ha sido ahora, porque salí de Puerto Rico, cero distracción, estoy de verdad metido en el gimnasio a la casa, no hago más nada que hacer eso. Y pues eso es lo que me mantiene aquí nuevamente.
I really believe the time is now. You know, like every time I come to Vegas now, it's for a mission. I'm on a mission, you know, getting ready for big fights. And definitely the world title opportunity is near. You know, everything I do in Vegas is go from the house to the gym, from the house to the gym, from the house to the gym. And, you know, getting away from Puerto Rico where I had a lot of distractions definitely helped.
Thank you very much. And now we go to Osvaldo Principe. Osvaldo, please unmute, ask your question when ready, and please wait for Gardy to translate after you ask the question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Buenas tardes para todos. Voy a preguntarle a Félix en español. Félix, nosotros seguimos en Argentina mucho tu carrera, sobre todo en 2013 y en 2014, cuando seguíamos a Maravilla Martínez, a Sergio Martínez, en el Felt Forum y en el Madison Square Garden de New York, y sobre todo en la pelea con Miguel Cotto. En aquella oportunidad, tú formaste parte de la cartelera y tenías en New York City, en Manhattan, una idolatría total de la gente siendo un novato. Hoy sos ya casi un aspirante, un retador al título del mundo, que ha vencido a Brian Vázquez, pero vemos que esa devoción con el público de Nueva York un poco se apagó. ¿Crees en esto o es simplemente un punto de vista desde Sudamérica?
Déjame traducirle.
Okay.
The question from Osvaldo is, we've been following your career for a long time in Argentina, ever since you fought in the Cotto Martinez card in New York. And back then you were a rookie and everyone was impressed with what you were doing in the ring and you had a lot of fans. But little by little, that attention from the fans has been lowering little by little. Is that a perspective just from Argentina and South America, or do you believe that's happening too?
Pues mira, de verdad que tengo la culpa completamente por, obviamente, mis malas decisiones que tomé en el camino, que tuve el accidente y un sinnúmero de cosas que me atrasaron mi carrera. Y pues gracias a eso perdí mucha fanaticada, pero al igual la voy a recuperar y mucho más porque yo sé que tengo el deseo, el talento y las ganas de ser grande y de ser el mejor en 135 libras por ahora.
I saw that happening too. I'm to blame for everything that has happened, all my bad decisions. And I have seen that I have lost some fans. I don't have the same attention from the fans. But I'm here to gain them back and gain even more fans. I'm on a mission to become world champion and be one of the biggest names in the division.
Thank you very much, Osvaldo. Now we go back to Ben Baby from ESPN. Ben, please unmute and ask your question when ready, sir.
What do you think has been the biggest thing that you've shown improvement in over the last few fights, and kind of what about that makes you feel like you'll succeed this weekend?
¿Qué es lo que piensas que ha hecho diferente que te va a hacer ser exitoso este sábado?
Pues mira, de la manera en que me empleo con Sala y las cosas que hacemos en el gimnasio, y pues obviamente la preparación y el trabajo duro que estamos haciendo se va a ver el sábado para mi carrera.
I'm confident that this Saturday I'm going to show everything that I've been working hard along with Salas. Every single detail that we pay attention to, and I'm going to show it this Saturday against Nakatani.
All right. Thank you very much, Ben. We go back to Jeremy Herridges. Jeremy, please unmute and ask when ready.
Hi, Felix. I know Carlos brought this up and kind of everything that you've been through throughout your career. You're 27 years old. Do you feel like over the years you've been through more than most fighters your age, and what are some of the most important things you've learned throughout your career?
Que ya han hablado de las cosas que han pasado. Eres un joven de 27 años y que quizás a tus 27 años has pasado cosas que otros peleadores de la misma edad no han pasado. ¿Cómo sientes que eso te ha beneficiado para el momento que estás ahora en tu carrera?
Pues mira, en ser una persona más madura, y obviamente tengo una hija que es la que me ha hecho más responsable y ser más juicioso con las cosas que hago, y pues me ha enseñado mucho a valorar la vida y ser lo mejor en lo que haga.
I feel like I have matured a lot, everything that I've been through. Also, I have a daughter now, so everything that I do for her. And also, she motivates me to be the best, whatever I'm doing.
And as a reminder, everybody who wants to ask a question, raise hand button, private chat, send direct message to me, and I will get to as many people as possible. We got a few more minutes with Felix because Toka Kahn Clary is waiting patiently in the queue. So I don't want to keep him waiting much longer, but we do have a couple more questions for Felix. And I will now turn it over to J.R. Bell. J.R., please unmute yourself and go ahead.
All right. One question here. Given that, you're going up against Nakatani here, and we saw what happened with Nakatani against Teofimo Lopez at the MGM National Harbor. What are you looking to do here to, impress people so that you may be in position to fight for a world title very soon, like in 2021?
Ya que vimos lo que pasó entre Nakatani y Teofimo, ¿qué son las cosas que tú piensas que debes hacer para entonces enviar un mensaje de que estás listo para pelear por un título mundial en el 2021?
Pues mira, obviamente hacer el trabajo que me pide a la esquina y ganar convincentemente y vean que hay Felipe para largo y yo sé que eso viene de la mano si Dios lo permite y vamos a ser el mejor del mundo.
You know, I'm shooting to be the best lightweight in the world, so I'm gonna, come for a convincing win against Nakatani. I'm gonna follow the instructions from my corner, and I know that those things come back hand in hand. I'm gonna get a big win on Saturday.
Thank you very much, JR. Crystal, please unmute yourself and go ahead when ready. Crystal Hart.
Well, my question was sort of like the gentleman's ahead of me. I just wanted to know what his thoughts on Nakatani and Teofimo Lopez, what his thoughts were, and did he see any flaws? Maybe what would have he had done differently to make a different outcome than Nakatani did?
Ella pregunta que si al ver la pelea con Teofimo y Nakatani, viste algunas cosas que puede tú tomar ventaja para que entonces tengas un resultado diferente al que tuvo Teofimo.
Pues sí, claro que sí. Uno siempre ve las peleas de los oponentes para ver los errores y las cosas que hacen para uno hacerlas pagar en el ring y pues nada, yo he trabajado para el estilo de Nakatani y lo verán el sábado.
I have studied, that fight between Nakatani and Teofimo. I have seen some flaws that I'm looking to exploit on Saturday, and you're gonna exactly see that on Saturday.
Thank you very much, Crystal. And now we go ahead to Carlos Gonzalez. Carlos, please go ahead when ready.
Buenas tardes, Félix. Mi pregunta es la siguiente. Obviamente todas las peleas son importantes, pero ¿entiendes que esta es la que en definitiva va a catapultar o a sentenciar tu futuro en el boxeo?
Every fight is important, but do you feel that this is the one fight that is going to catapult you to the world title shot and define your future career in boxing?
Claro que sí, estoy de acuerdo con la pregunta porque es lo que va a determinar nuevamente mi futuro. Estoy en la balanza, como uno dice, pero yo sé que el futuro mío está asegurado ahí. El sábado lo van a ver, que voy a ganar una victoria convincente y voy a demostrar que yo voy a ser el mejor del mundo.
This fight will definitely define my future in boxing, but I'm confident that I'm gonna get a big win, a convincing win against Nakatani, and I'm shooting to be the best lightweight in the world.
Thank you very much. We're going to let Felix go because we're a little behind schedule and we want to get to Toka Kahn Clary, who's up next. Felix, any final thoughts, final statements you'd like to make as we approach Saturday night?
¿Algo más que quieras decir para finalizar?
No, que gracias por el apoyo que me siguen dando los fanáticos en Puerto Rico, en el mundo entero, y que hay feliz para largo.
I just want to thank everyone for the support, all my people from Puerto Rico, and I'm going to let them know that there's going to be Felix Verdejo for a long time.
Well, thank you very much, Felix, for joining us today. A reminder, Felix co-main event right before the main event against Masayoshi Nakatani Saturday night. El Diamante is back. Felix, gracias. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you soon. And thanks to Felix for joining us today. Now on the line, we have a junior lightweight contender, opportunity of his professional life right now, on a nice little winning streak here. Toka Kahn Clary from Providence, Rhode Island. Toka, welcome.
Hi, how you doing?
So can you talk about, how this opportunity arose, how quick you were to accept this opportunity, so everything that went into that, and what your feelings are on Shakur Stevenson as the fighter? I know you two kind of sort of missed each other a little bit in the amateur ranks, but you are familiar with him. So can you talk about all that?
This opportunity, it's a blessing for me to be in this position I am, that I have in my life. And, we always been working, boxing is sport that is full of opportunity. You just gotta wait and be patient and keep grinding in the gym and stay positive. And we've been doing that. We didn't know we was gonna get this opportunity, but when it came, we was ready. We just came off a fight, so we already been in the gym. So when this opportunity came, it wasn't a problem. We didn't hesitate. We just knew it was time.
Todd, you unmuting Todd? It's a quick question for Todd duBoef before we get to the questions at hand. I just reminded everybody in the chat, please raise hand button. Please raise hand button or send me a private message to ask a question for Toka Kahn Clary. I'm now here with Todd. Todd, I know you're obviously very familiar with Toka Kahn Clary from his early days fighting under the Top Rank banner. First southpaw of Shakur Stevenson's career. What, knowing Toka like you do, what sort of challenges do you feel he could present to Toka?
I mean, I think what we're dealing with here is two very quality fighters that have had extensive amateur careers. So the pedigree is so high. They have seen guys at a world-class level against each other similar, maybe not as professionals, but during their whole training. So I think that they both have challenges ahead of them. And I think, and this is what makes the fight game so interesting, is that when you have guys with the deep pedigree and the great training, that they do have the ability to, when they do get in the ring, you see incredible quality. I think when Toka was with Top Rank, he was more of a prospect than he is today, where he's more established right now, and he's gotten more fights under his belt, and he's now a real contender, and he's going to have his hands, with a very skilled Shakur Stevenson. And I think they both offer complicated little, tricks for both of them. And I think it's going to be a terrific fight.
Thank you very much, Todd. And our first question for Toka Kahn Clary comes from Danny, all the way from the UK. Danny Flexen, please go ahead when ready.
Hey, Toka, how you doing?
Hey.
The last time we saw, well, not the last time we saw you, but the most notable time we saw you, certainly in the UK, was your fight with Kid Galahad in the featherweight eliminator. Just tell us a little bit about what you learned from that fight, and also why you decided to step up from 126.
Well, my weight, I'm getting older, and my weight was a little bit of a problem. So I'm getting bigger, I'm getting stronger, and I'm getting older. And in that fight with Kid Galahad, if you watch the fight, it was a slow-paced fight. It was a good experience for me, good exposure. Kid Galahad was a great fighter. He did a lot of good things in there. He told me a lot of things in the ring as well. And I learned a lot from that fight. And after that, we've been grinding, we've been working. And I know I belong on that level after that fight, you know what I'm saying? After we fought Kid Galahad, I wasn't outclassed. I wasn't like, it wasn't like he outpointed me so bad that I didn't belong, I felt like I did some good things in that fight. It's just like down the stretch, that's why I felt like I took my feet off the gas a little bit. But it was a great learning experience for me, and I took those learning experience and I just moved on to my career. Now I feel like I belong on this stage. I belong at this level.
Thank you very much, Danny Flexen. We are now going to go back to Jake Donovan with Boxing Scene. Jake, please unmute and go ahead.
Thank you very much, Evan. Toka, I know you were linked earlier this year to a fight with Abraham Nova. Obviously, everyone has to respect the reasons why you didn't go through with it. At the time, was there any fear that you wouldn't get another big opportunity in 2020, or were you always confident a fight like this would come along?
Well, boxing, like I said, is filled with opportunities. I'm at the point in my career. If you see my record, like I'm always in the gym, so I just knew that I just had to be patient. My time would come, and that's what we did. My manager did a tremendous job, and we here now. This is the opportunity we've been looking for, the opportunity we've been waiting for, and I feel like it's now never.
Gotcha. And then I know you had, the Rush Shaker it was like 6-7 weeks ago. Did you know at that time that this fight was coming along and that's why you took it? Or did you just take that fight for the sake of getting back in the ring?
Nah, my manager got me that fight because I wanted to fight so bad. But now we didn't know that the fight with Shakur was going to come up. My manager just got us that fight just so, because before that fight, we haven't fought for like 14 months. So my manager was like, we need to do something just so we could stay active, and it worked out in our favor.
All right, very cool. Thanks so much, Toka. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jake. Now we go to Brooklyn, New York. Xavier Porter, please unmute and go ahead.
Thank you, Evan. Toka, how you feeling today?
Doing good. Thank you.
Okay. With the win, if you're successful with the win against Shakur Stevenson, would this be the best, like, you know, the greatest fight for you in your career?
The greatest victory in my career, I got a daughter. That's the greatest victory in my career, in my life. But this will be a big notch in my boxing career. You know, it will be a big plus in my boxing career. You know, so being an Olympian, an undefeated fighter at this level he will be huge in my career. So it will be a blessing, and it is something that we're all going out to do.
Thank you very much, Xavier. Next, we go back to Toka is very popular in the United Kingdom. I guess he made quite an impression when he fought Kid Galahad. Jonathan Nagyoff. Jonathan, pro boxing fans, please unmute and go ahead when ready.
Hey, Toka, how you doing?
Good.
Good. What do you make of Shakur Stevenson as a fighter? You know, he's been heavily highly touted as sort of the next big thing. What do you make of him, and what do you have to do to beat him on Saturday?
Shakur is a very talented fighter. You know, when you watch him, you see that very smart in there. He got a great set of guys around him: Andre Ward, Terrence Crawford. You know, so he has been coming up very well around good people. He's highly talented, but I'm talented too. You know, I feel that the world haven't really seen me at my best yet, honestly, you know, and with his skills and my skills, I feel like he's gonna bring the best out of me on the 12th, and that's what I'm really more excited about, you know. But he's a talented fighter, you know. When you watch him, you see that.
Thanks, Toka.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you very much, Jonathan. Let's see who else we got. We got a few more in the queue here. J.R. Bell, we go back to you, sir. Please unmute and ask your question when ready.
All right there, Toka. When this fight was announced, you said, come December 12th, boxing fans will see the difference between a man and a boy. Could you go into that a little bit more as far as like your overall experience as a professional and as an amateur? And do you think that is basically what it means to have that difference in this fight coming up against Shakur Stevenson?
I mean, I just say that, you know, because Shakur's a young dude, you know what I'm saying? I'm in the prime of my career. You know, he's 23 years old. He's still young. I remember when I was 23 years old. I didn't mean nothing like no disrespect or nothing like that. I'm just saying I'm older, I'm stronger, and I've been through a little bit more than he have. And I'm going to show all that when I go in it come December 12th.
Thank you very much, JR. Let's see. Again, raise hand button in the chat queue, or send me a private message, and we will get to it. You mentioned, Toka, that you fought. It was October 26th. You fought on a smaller show here back in your hometown of Providence, and you said that you didn't know that this opportunity was coming. But how beneficial it is for you now that you've had that fight, only 5-6 weeks apart, staying sharp and staying in the gym? How much of a benefit does that fight back on October 26th, I believe, help you as you prepared in camp for Shakur?
But that fight helped me a lot, because that was my first fight in a bubble, doing a bubble thing, doing the COVID, but fighting with no fans in the arena. So that was my first time with those in those atmospheres. So it was a blessing that we had that fight. It also gave me and helped me to know what I'm going into when there's no fans in the crowd, when there's you won't be hearing no noise from anyone. So that fight helped me to get my mind prepared for that. And the weight cut. I ain't had no problem with my weight this camp. You know, I was already in shape. My weight was already down. I don't think I was over 12 pounds this whole camp, so it worked out tremendous.
And you touched on the Kid Galahad fight. You know, so you said you learned a lot of things that you need to sort of maybe be more aggressive. You know, but it was a close fight. Was that the biggest lesson you learned, that you maybe need to be more aggressive? But again, Shakur is obviously a different animal style wise than Kid Galahad. So how do you sort of take what you learned from that fight and apply it to a guy who fights completely differently, and a guy such as Shakur Stevenson?
I feel like I just gotta believe in myself, you know what I'm saying? In everything from 1 to 10, you know what I'm saying? That was one of the biggest things I got from the Kid Galahad fight, believing in myself, because if you see, like, I feel like my body language wasn't at its best in that fight. And I feel like that was something that I was lacking. But other than that, you know, come the 12, I feel like everything gonna come together for me.
And now we go to Joshua Brewer. Joshua, please unmute and ask your question when ready, sir. We got a couple room for about 1 or 2 more with Toka. So Josh, go ahead when ready.
Hello, Toka. Yeah, this is kind of along a similar vein. Like, how do you stay focused on what it is that you need to do when going up against someone like Shakur, where we know that the majority of people are going to be on his side and viewing him as that next big thing, and they're essentially probably looking past you? How do you stay focused on what it is that you're doing so that you can go in there and actually probably change the outcome for what people may think?
Well, that make it easy on me, really. You know, that people think I'm just supposed to come in there, he's just supposed to watch me. So for me, I look at that like that's no stress on me. That's more stress on him. He got to worry about going out there and doing what this said. Me, I gotta go out there and do what I know. I know how to do what I do. And you know, I know I ain't no like I see online bum. I ain't no cherry pick. I know the type of fighter I am. I know what I've been through, you know. So with all the talks and what everybody feel like he is, he gotta go out there and prove it. I just gotta go out there and be me, be the best Toka Kahn player.
Thank you very much. And I think at this point we'll let Toka. I know Toka's probably got to pack, get ready to go to Vegas. Long travel ahead of him. Toka, before you go, any final message you'd like to send to media, to your fans, as now we're only 4 days out from the fight of your career?
I just want to tell everybody tuning December 12th. I want to thank the whole Top Range squad, the whole team. Thank you for the opportunity. I want to thank my team, my family, my state, everybody that support me. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be in this position, and I am going to show up, and I am going to do my thing in there December 12th. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Toka. We will see you in the bubble in Las Vegas tomorrow. Good luck, safe travels, and we'll see you soon, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you to Toka Kahn Clary for joining us today. We're going to take a very, very short intermission while we wait for Shakur Stevenson to join us. So please stand by. It'll only be a couple minutes, and then we will get to the Shakur Stevenson portion of the call. Thank you. All right, welcome everybody back. Shakur Stevenson has just joined us. Thank you everybody for your patience, and thank you Shakur for joining us today. So Shakur, welcome back to the bubble. This is your second appearance in the bubble. So can you talk about sort of how that first experience prepared you for what you're going to face fight week wise for your second trip in the bubble?
Wait, you interviewing me?
I'm starting it out, Shakur, and then we're gonna get to the question from the media. Yeah, I figure Shakur, we'll start with your favorite person to ask you a question, and then we'll get to the other people. So yeah, so Shakur, your second appearance, how did that first one help you moving towards your as you prepare for your second bubble fight?
I mean, the first time, it was like a new experience going into the bubble and getting used to being inside the bubble where it's like things not the same. You're not around your family, you're not around nobody. I'm usually like type of person, got like a bunch of family members and a bunch of people around me, and it's a big difference in the bubble. So I think I got used to it now, and I think I'm just ready to fight.
And Todd, I mean, this was obviously Shakur wasn't originally scheduled to fight December 12th. Once the Berchelt Valdez fight sort of fell through, Shakur took this fight on about 5 weeks' notice. Todd, can you talk about sort of the decision making that went into pivoting and putting Shakur in this spot in a big main event on December 12th?
Yeah, I mean, this is first of all, compliments to Shakur and his team. I mean, they are doing exactly what the old time fighters do and what the real fighters do, is take the opportunities that exist. Because we had a very fluid schedule and because of the COVID issues, there were difficulties in keeping, fights in college football and NFL football. Everything's moving so quickly. We had only from scheduling purposes, we had, Shakur planned for, I think it was sometime in early January, and had the Berchelt Valdez fight scheduled for December. But as soon as we had the pullout, Shakur's team reached out to us and said, listen, we want to accelerate this even quicker. And that's just a real tribute to being a great prize fighter and jumping on the opportunity and being a part of Heisman night. I mean, again, I said this earlier in the interview, this December date is a big, big date for the network and for us collectively as the top rank content provider for boxing. And this has been earmarked, and last year was Crawford and Cavalisius, and before that was Loman Pedraza. And, Shakur, we've wanted him on this date, and it's a great opportunity, and it's a 3-hour time block. And I think he's the perfect guy to fit it. And I think we're really, really proud of the way that they stepped forward and Shakur stepped forward to say, hey, I want to get in the ring. I don't want to talk about me going on vacation and see my kids on the farm. He's doing exactly what the prize fighters do.
Thank you, Todd. And our first question comes from Eric Woodyard, ESPN.com. Eric, unmute, please go.
Shakur, what's up, man?
What's up, what up?
Watched you over the years, man, with my girl Claressa Shields in the Olympics, to get into this level. And they talked about your team, speaking of your team, but one guy in particular I want to ask you about is Jay Prince, man. How much have he helped you, in your career as well from his role in your camp?
I mean, Jay Prince been a big help. He's not just like a manager to me. He's like more like family, and we got like a real relationship. So actually, like Jay Prince, I don't look up to a lot of people, but Jay Prince like one of the people in the world that I really look up to, and I see him as a great role model for myself. So he's been a big help, and I'm blessed to have him on my team.
How do you decide who gets around you at this point? Everybody wants a piece of you. They see you as coming up. How do you pick your inner circle and who gets around you and really gauge, who's worthy of being around?
Ain't no new people that come around me. I don't let new people in. I got like a thing with that. Like when you let new people in, that's when things go wrong. So I got a thing where it's like the same people that been with me since the start of my pro career and before my pro career and all that. Them the people that's with me now. So that's just how I move. I move a little bit different.
Thank you very much, Eric. Now we go to Jeremy Harridges. Jeremy, please unmute and go ahead.
Hi, Shakur. I think you said a few months ago, before your fight with Caraballo, you said that you didn't know one thing about him and you watched about 2 rounds. How well do you know Toka Kahn Clary in comparison?
It's a little bit different though, cause with like Caraballo, I never seen him fight before, so I didn't like. I just went into the fight with like clue of what he really was bringing, and just them 2 rounds I knew. But with Toka, I actually seen him fight Kid Galahad, and I knew of Toka since I was an amateur coming up, and he was going to like Olympic trials and all that kind of stuff. So I knew of Toka, and like, it's a lot different with that. But I will say, like, this fight, I only watched Toka like 3 rounds the most. Like, that's the most I watched Toka too. So I can't really sit here and act like I've been studying him and all that kind of stuff. But I know of his style already. So
Any opinions about what he brings to the table, or your opinions about him as a fighter from what you've seen?
I think that real like boxers and like people like me, like we understand that he's a good fighter. Like it ain't like you getting in there with a scrub, and I know that he's like a real good fighter. I think that that's really like my opinion of it. I feel like, but it don't really matter how good he is or like what he gonna bring. I'm gonna make him look a certain way, and people gonna have their opinions of him regardless. So.
Thank you very much. And now we go over to the UK, Danny Flexen. Danny, please unmute and go ahead.
Hey Shakur, how you doing?
What up? What up?
Just wanted to talk about what your main reasons were for moving up to 130, and who you see as kind of the main potential rivals in your future there. A lot of fighters recently have moved from 130 up to 135, which I'm sure you will eventually, but at the moment at 130, who are the main guys for you?
I mean, I say, like biggest rival right now probably is me and Berchelt. Berchelt being the top dog, and everybody know what kind of like potential I got, so they gonna match it up well. Like boxer versus big puncher. Can Shakur beat this dude? Like this is a different kind of fighter. So I say Berchelt as of like right now, but in the long run, I think probably me and Tank.
Thank you very much. We go back to the UK. Jonathan Nagyoff, Pro Boxing Fans. Jonathan, please unmute and go ahead.
Hey, Shakur. Going into this fight, obviously you've got that #1 mandatory position with the WBO. Is that a fight that you want after that, the winner of the proposed fight between Herring and Frampton?
Oh yeah, that's the fight that I'm getting. It ain't the fight that I want. It's the fight that I'm getting. So hopefully they hurry up with their dates and decide what they doing, so that way I could be back in March against the winner of that fight.
Will that be difficult for you if it is against Jamel Herring, considering you're quite close?
I mean, boxing the business at the end of the day. I don't look at nobody as friends. We get in the ring. I gotta feed my family just as much as he gotta feed his family. So I can't look at it like, oh, I'm cool with Jamel. Nah, that's an enemy when we get in the ring. So we just gotta wait and see.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jonathan. We go next to J.R. Bell. J.R., please unmute yourself and go ahead when ready.
Brother Shakur, what's good, man?
What up? What up?
All good. How important was it for you to try to get in another fight this year?
I ain't gonna say like it was like very important, because from my knowledge, like I didn't even know that I was gonna be fighting this year. Like I thought it was over. I thought the next fight was January or something like that. So it wasn't really like super important. But I mean, once like the call came, I'm one of the people that I'm always in shape, and I'm not gonna pass up on the opportunity, no matter what it was. So I actually jumped forward thinking like, shit, if Berchelt fell out the fight with Valdez, I could try to get the Valdez fight, but I guess Valdez want to play chess, and he want the title and whatever excuse he want to make. But sooner or later, if he get past Berchelt, he gonna have to see me too. So he can't run for too long.
Thank you very much. And now we go to Danny Thompson. Danny, please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Shakur, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah,
okay, Shakur, Danny Thompson with the 3-point conversion. The last few weeks in boxing have been special. Some of the best pound-for-pound fighters have been fighting over the last few weeks. Timofeo Lopez, we had the Errol Spence fight. We had Bud Crawford, among others. Jamarlo Tank Davis. Do you feel a little bit extra pressure going into Saturday night, knowing that they put on such great performances, for you to exceed and also show that you are, quote unquote, the pound for pound best fighter in the world?
I'm not even trying, I don't think I'm at that point where I'm going to just say I'm the pound for pound best fighter in the world, but I'm competitive, so I do like to compete. But at the end of the day, I'm more focused on performing to myself and my family, my friends, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm competitive, but I ain't looking at their performances and judging. Because if I'm being honest, some of them performances, if I'm being real, me, I wasn't really that impressed with some of the performances you name. I mean, a lot of casual boxing fans that's not into boxing probably is really impressed with some of that stuff, but I wasn't really impressed with. A performance that did probably impress me the most probably was Teofimo, but other than that, I wasn't really impressed. And Terrence.
Thank you very much. Again, as a reminder, send a raise hand button in the Zoom or send me a DM on the chat and I'll get you in the chat queue. We're going to let Shakur go in a few minutes because he's got to, again, get ready to pack up and go to the bubble very shortly. So our next question comes from Reggie Woodson. Reggie, please unmute and go ahead.
Hey, what's good, Shakur?
What up?
It's like Reggie Woodson of Bite Down Boxing. Hey, we've heard it all throughout the years that the elites or the greats have a difficult time coaching others. You worked the corner of Joshua Greer Jr. a few weeks ago. Did you experience any frustration in what he was able to do with your instructions versus what you were seeing? And does this add to your maturation as a fighter?
I mean, nah, I ain't really, the most part I probably was frustrated is when you tell somebody to do something and you want to go in there and do it yourself. And I'm a fighter, so I'm damn, I wish I was in there to be able to show him what I mean. But other than that, nah, at the end of the day, with Josh is a great fighter, and at the end of the day, he was gonna do what he did regardless. So it's more up to the fighter when you coaching, but being a coach, I guess it probably helped a little bit, but I ain't really too focused on that. That's something that I'm gonna be more focused on after boxing.
I mean, but
I'm sorry. No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just asking, but does it kind of add to either how you're seeing the game or how you've grasped the sport at this stage in your career? Thanks, Evan.
I'm not sure. I don't think it adds to it because I feel like I'm already a student of the game regardless. So I think it adds to a fighter that if I go say something and I help coach them or something like that, I think it adds to their game. But I don't think it's added to my game because I sit and watch boxing all day, every day. So I could sit there and tell you this and tell you that, but I don't think it's going to add to nothing that got to do with me and my boxing.
Thank you very much. Xavier Porter, please go ahead.
Shakir, how you feeling? Quick question in regards to your thoughts against Jamel Herring. As a fighter, as a boxer.
Yo, in a minute.
Huh?
I said I ain't seen you in years, dude.
It's been a minute, man. Good to see you again, bro. Quick question in regards to you just mentioned your thoughts about Jamel Herring. As being around the guy, knowing him, I'm pretty sure you've been around his family and things of that nature. How do you transition from the mindset from being a boxer, being around him, to when you actually get the opportunity to say, you know what, this guy's my opponent. I got to do what I got to do against him.
I mean, it's easy. I mean, that's I just feel like I got family of my own and I got a lot going on myself that I'm so hungry. I don't care what you got going on. Like, if we get in the ring, if you cross the ring for me, you got to go. And that's just how I see it. Like, I don't look at nobody like, oh, you my family, so I'm a, like, nah, I look at it from a standpoint where I got to feed my family and you got to feed your family. And I know for a fact that if you get the chance to hurt me, you ain't going to hold back. So I'm the same as that way.
Thank you very much, Xavier. We're going to take one last question. Shakur's got to run. Crystal Hart, please unmute and go ahead when ready. Crystal, you there? All right, I guess I'll try it one more time. Nope, I guess we are having technical difficulties on her end. So we're going to end it here. Shakur, any last words you want to send out to to the fans, those watching on ESPN, and to the media out here today?
Nah, just tune in December 12th. You're going to see the same thing I've been doing, and a dominant performance, nothing less, and that's all you're going to get out of me.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Shakur, for joining us today. And as a programming reminder, Stevenson against Toka Kahn Clary, Verdejo Nakatani, and Berlanga, Ulysses Sierra, regular ESPN 10 o'clock. Undercard on ESPN Plus, including Clay Collard, Robesi Ramirez, who Shakur knows very well. That'll start at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And we are going to have a nice addition to the ESPN Plus portion of the undercard, which we will be announcing very shortly. So stay tuned for that news. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you, Shakur. And we will see you all Saturday night. Thank you.
Hey, what's the addition?
What's the addition? Shakur.